usually enclosed between the two layers of the cranial dura mater, the endosteal layer and the meningeal layer. Now, let's see how these dural venous sinuses are classified. The dural venous sinuses are classified as paired and unpaired sinuses. Unpaired sinuses, as the name suggests, are usually found in midline, whereas on either side of the midline we have the paired dural venous sinuses. What are the paired dural venous sinuses we have? The most important of the paired dural sinus we have is the cavernous sinus, then we have the transverse sinus, continuing as sigmoid sinus, then we have superior petrosal sinus, inferior petrosal sinus, petrosquamous sinuses, spinoparietal sinuses and middle meningeal sinus. These are the paired dural venous sinuses. When we talk about the unpaired dural venous sinuses, we have the superior sagittal sinus, inferior sagittal sinus, straight sinus, occipital sinus, anterior intercavernous sinus, middle intercavernous sinus, posterior intercavernous sinus, basilar venous plexus, and then we have marginal sinus. Most of the textbooks may not describe the middle intercavernous sinus as well as marginal sinus, but you can list these two as two important unpaired dural venous sinuses. Now, let's talk about the detailed anatomy of the cavernous sinus. Cavernous sinus again is a very important topic for your university exam, long essay. Similar to parotid, even this has been asked plenty of times. So, classification of dural venous sinuses and cavernous sinus description is often asked together. We will try to learn cavernous sinus under these headings. First, we will try to define what it is and why is it called so. Then we will see where exactly it is located, what is its extent, what are the structures related to it, what are the tributaries that drain into it, what are its communication, and also we will learn about its applied or clinical anatomy. First, let's begin with what exactly is cavernous sinus. The literal meaning of cavernous is small spaces. The interior of the cavernous sinus is divided by interlacing fibers into small caverns, which are referring to small spaces. Because of this, cavernous sinus derives its name. The cavernous sinus is located on either side of the hypophyseal fossa or the pituitary fossa, lying close to the carotid artery groove. The cavernous sinus extends from superior orbital fissure in the front till the foramen lacerum behind. This is the extension of the cavernous sinus. The cavernous sinus measures roughly about 2 centimeters in length and 1 centimeter in width. These are some of the basic morphological features of the cavernous sinus. But what is important for us in cavernous sinus is the relations. And in relations, there are few structures which are located inside the cavernous sinus. Now again, this is a peculiarity, right? Imagine having structures within a blood vessel, which is like totally unknown of. But cavernous sinus is one peculiar blood vessel which contains structures traversing inside it along with the blood. These are called as internal relations of cavernous sinus. But there are few structures which are related to it externally. For example, when we take a look at the external relations of the cavernous sinus, the structures which are related to it medially are the pituitary gland, and below the pituitary gland we have the sphenoidal air sinus. So these structures are related medially. If you see the lateral relations are mainly the uncus of the temporal lobe. This is one important lateral relation of the cavernous sinus. The cavernous sinus above is related to the optic chiasma and the internal carotid artery siphon. These are some of the important external relations of the cavernous sinus.